You received a call from an inmate at the Department of Corrections. This call will be recorded and monitored. If you wish to block any future calls of this nature, dial 7 now. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline this call, hang up.
Well, hello, K-Dog. Yes, I did hear from your friend, and it was a very stimulating conversation. I learned quite a bit from him, and hopefully together we'll all be able to help him out. Yeah, I've been having some problems at the women's prison over these same issues, and I don't hear too much about the folks in there. But the lies and the deceptions and cover-ups, this stuff has got to be called out. Yeah, that's all there is to it. I can't really emphasize it any other way. Well, I do know that at the women's prison, there's a lot of men, full-fledged men that go in there claiming to be transvestites, and of course they're abusing the female inmates in there. So I'm trying to get some information out of there. I've gotten little tidbits here and there. But I think if the full story gets out, uh, I'm not expecting too much because there's not a lot of folks out here that have sympathy for you guys. But I am hoping that somebody, maybe one person will hear it and be able to take some action, maybe be in a position that can help us. Yeah, definitely. The more people you talk to, the better off we are. And I would say the first step is just getting the information out there. Yeah, another person told me about that death, and I still have not seen it on the news. There are things that go on in there, medical conditions, and there's crimes, and for some reason it's like the prisons are taboo. Nobody wants to talk about them, and I I think that needs to end. I know if folks out here will talk to you guys on Securus, we might be able to get some stuff going. But when you have this strong uh, attack on you guys because you committed a crime, no matter what it is, and you're serving time in there, the world is supposed to turn against you, and I don't understand it. You're serving time, and so once you get out, it shouldn't haunt you for the rest of your life, but it does, and I don't think that's very fair. Everybody deserves a second chance, and if you get out and you don't get the support that you need to get back into society, it's so easy to slip back in there, and that's usually the people that do go back. It's because they just can't cope with the stuff out here, and there's just not enough training and not enough support while you're in there. Yeah, that too. It's like a lockdown for you. Nobody wants to talk about
You have 60 seconds remaining.
anything that's going on in there. Okay, that's good. Share it with your family, share it with your friends. And I know there's a few people that come in and visit. Yeah, definitely share it with those too. We need that. We need word of mouth is really powerful out here. And I know there's a few incarcerated people who do blogs and get on Twitter.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
And so we'll see if we can piggyback on some of that too. Yeah, I know it's tough to get anybody to believe you, but if you hear it enough, and there's nothing to dispute it, people might look into it. Okay, good. Yeah, let's at least get the conversation going. Well, thanks for the call, and good luck with your endeavors, and take care of yourself. Hey, my pleasure. No problem. Hello, welcome to a QS Inmate Call, and I am your host, Joel Wilborn. And in this episode, I'm talking about deceptions, lies, things that pretty much affect our everyday life out here, and it really affects the people that are incarcerated. Now, one of my recent conversations, and a conversation I'd like to continue, but it's been kind of stifled thanks to the Department of Corrections. I'm very interested in the transgender community in both the male and female prisons. And I would like to get their side of the story on what's going on. Now, I know quite a bit of transgender people, and I have absolutely nothing against them. They're wonderful folks, and that's their lifestyle. That's a lot of them. That's what they choose, and some of them, it's more or less the way their body is set up. They just cannot accept their biological gender. And as long as nobody's breaking any laws or violating other people's rights, this is America. Let them do what they want. And a large part of our conversations, we'll discuss stuff like that, and it's very nice to hear from them, and especially their take on what's going on with the people that are supporters of them or the people that oppose them. And one common denominator when it comes to the issues that they have are the folks that come into the prison pretending to be transgender. Now, of course, nobody knows for sure who's genuinely transgender, and we don't take them to court and make them, put them under oath or lie detectors or anything. This is something that is, as it should be, you ask the person, what's your gender? And you got the men who say that they're transgender or that they're prefer to identify as a female. They and then they go to the female prison, and that makes the transgender people feel uncomfortable, because you got transgender people, and I've spoken to them. When I talk to them on the phone, they sound like a male, and when I get pictures, they look like a male. But the conversation is definitely, I prefer men. I want to be with men. I want to be married to a man. I want to have a family with a man as the center. And when I talk to females, the straight ones, they're the same way. They love to be around men. They want relationships with men. And, who am I to argue? And one person in particular, she told me that she couldn't have sexual relationship with a woman because she's not. She's taken some medication and some treatment to slow that down. And so she says to be accused of threatening people with rape or with relationship, she says it's just irritating because that's not what she wants. And she just made it a point that she would rather be with a man. And putting her in the male prison, even though she still physically looks like a male, would be dangerous to her, because she'll be surrounded by people that are male, and if she gets attracted to one, who knows? So for her, it's good to be in the female prison because she's not going to go after those female prisoners. So what we're concerned about are the people that go in there and they are attracted to the females, and they can get them pregnant, and they have, and then they're abused by staff, both sides. And I'm not sure why, if there's a sexual predator who preys on young girls and women, but claims to be transgender and goes to the female prison and continues that, you would think officials would just remove the person. But apparently there's a lot of lawsuits, and there's groups that come down and a lot of spokespeople that speak out. And so we're kind of like between a rock and a hard place. These folks obviously should not be in that particular prison, but there they are. And the issues start up because the people who really are 100% true trans people, they have to deal with that false betrayal of their gender and their lifestyle. So that's where I think the lies and deception are really dangerous for us. And I know it's something that can be worked out. You can't just throw people into a prison based on the gender that they choose. There should be some kind of qualifications for it. If this person has been seeking this medical attention and this possible change for years, especially before the arrest, there's a good possibility that this is a real transvestite. But to just a recent thing, I don't know. And I've spoken to those folks too that actually take advantage of the system. And with me, lying is a natural process. We all lie, and it really gets me that when there's a political race going on, people are pointing fingers and saying this person is lying. That's a dangerous thing to say, to see this transvestite go into a prison and say you're lying, because if it comes back and it's proved that this person wasn't lying, then suddenly the person who accuses them is a liar. Now, I know I go on Twitter a lot, and there was a tweet in there where a parent was describing argument between son and friend, and the son's friend said, "Liar, liar, pants on fire." And the son responds by saying, "My pants are not on fire, so look who's lying now." And it's nice that kids realize that the best way to handle a lie is by throwing the truth out there. And so if you're going to tell somebody you're lying, you need to be able to prove the truth. And lying is one thing, but to be a liar is something else. And liars pretty much do that all the time. They live that lifestyle. A transgender person lives that lifestyle. And so if there's a fake person, there's going to be a gap in there. You're going to be able to notice that. And then that person is a deceiver, is a liar. And there's this phrase that the women use, straight out the gate. They go in there and they have relationships with other female incarcerated people. And then once they leave prison, they go back to being attracted to men and dating men and being around men. So maybe they do that for emotional support. Maybe they just they find a different environment when they're locked in there with a bunch of females running around, whatever reason. And these people, they're not lying. I will ask them. They'll tell them, no, I prefer men, but while I'm in here, I make do. And I'm not going to go off and call them a liar. And then there's the true, hands down, lesbian. And when I talk to them, they really don't like the folks that come in there. Even the folks that are just straight out the gate. And they have a little grudge against that too. So if we're going to be creating, well, the way I see it, if there's I think of it as male and female. But now we have a whole set of factors that go in. And so a person who goes into a prison and doesn't identify as a male or female needs to be put in a different area. And we just have to be realistic about it. If you don't want to treat people as male and female, then you're going to have to make some changes. You can't just say, well, you're not identifying as a female. Instead, you want to be a male, so we're going to stick you in with the males. A lot of those folks in the prison, they don't care. Some of them went in there for sexual assault or maybe sex trafficking or something, and we're just catering to them. So we really need to make some changes in that field, because it's something that's hidden. It's tough for me to get the story out, to get these people to tell their story and be able to record it and broadcast it out there. And there's a lot of stuff that's gone hidden in there. And the penal system is not designed to torture folks or to put them into even more of a traumatic area. It's designed to help them get away from the crime that was committed and to move on, to serve their sentence, get out, and put it behind them. And we're just not allowing that to happen. So I'm hoping we can get out, we can discuss how we handle something like this. In the outside world, transgender people pretty much have their own privacy, and so do the straight people and the lesbians and the gay folks. In prison, it's different. It's just cut and dry, male, female. There's no in-betweens. And I know they give them special shower times, or times that, because they were telling me times that they can actually use the restroom facilities, and then maybe certain medical attention or something. But we need to make that point aware that prison shouldn't be creating more trauma. And I can understand when transgender people want to speak out, when they want to bang the drum and get the attention, because I've seen some of the abuse that goes on in there. And again, the prison isn't designed to create more trauma. It's traumatic enough to be sent to prison. And then you have those that are identifying as a female, but are put in the male prison and really get a tough time. There's a few magazines and stuff, and people can do internet searches and find them, where they can get the story of these folks. And we need that. We need lying liars. We need to understand that we are turning people into the bad guy. Transgender people are getting the bad rap of the people that are liars. And when they're sitting in prison, it's even worse, because, oh, you're a bad person, you deserve to be in prison, and we're not going to give any sympathy for you. You should have thought about all that stuff before you committed the crime. So why are they committing the crime? Does anybody care? Does anybody want to take away that motivator? And what can we as a community do to keep people out of prison? Taking away rights won't work. So if you want people to be locked up, you want to get criminals off the street, you're going to have to listen to what's going on in there. Because you can have a person who's living a lifestyle out here, commits a crime, goes in there, and comes out worse. These folks that we keep criticizing, that we keep ignoring, when they get out, they could possibly be your next door neighbor. It could possibly be the person sitting next to you on the bus, or a coworker. And that trauma is going to be huge. And those of us who don't commit crimes and don't go to prison, we should be able to get good medical treatment for that. And so I don't see any reason why the folks that are in prison, if we need to invest in prisons, let's invest in some medical services, or some bigger array of counseling. Get people in there that are willing to sit down with them and talk to them about what's going on. And maybe this transgender thing is the root of their criminal activity. And when you walk out and you want to live your comfortable life and you're not bothering anybody, and suddenly you're just insulted and attacked, yeah, you're going to want to band together and stop it. And yeah, it's going to become a little bit more aggressive. That could be true of anybody. I don't see why we can live in the United States and separate people like that. We need to come together. These little petty things and turning people into the enemy is not fair to the folks that just want to live a peaceful life. No need to provoke it. So let's think about lies and liars and deceptions, and let's try to get the true root of the problem. And maybe one day we can get rid of prisons altogether. And when we do see folks, we don't necessarily have to know what their gender is or what their sexual preference is. We can just accept them, and in their private matters they do what they want, but at work they concentrate on working, and out in the free world they want to go camping or hiking, or if they want to spend time at the park with their kids. As long as we're all following the law and not violating anybody's rights, why does it matter if they're homosexual, or if they're Jewish, or if they're Caucasian? Why should we bring that up? Let's concentrate on the things that we have in common. And we all want to bring down crime. And we just need to open up and talk. We need to get that discussion going. Well, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully you'll be able to visit my YouTube channel, see some interviews that I have, and maybe get involved in reducing crime in our neighborhood. But we're just going to have to talk. We're going to have to talk to the right people and listen. Well, Go out and have yourself a wonderful day and make beautiful memories for tomorrow.